Calvert moves in to huddle up with his 4 teammates. Coach Rupp, Harry Lancaster, and the rest of the squad ready to go now. As Virginia Tech moves out in the white uniforms, Kentucky in the blue. Beck and Coates, both 6'7", have a handshake, and we're ready to go. Coates is the oldest man on either team at 26. He's a service returnee. Beck moves in, Coates moves in, and stand by for the start of the second game of the Sugar Bowl. Beck, a high, deep tap for Calvert. He's outraced for it by Lewis Mills, and VPI has the ball. The pass is over to Penn. Moving down the left side, hands off in close quarters to Quillen, who passes out deep, and it's picked up by Dave Kuhn, the forward. Back over to Lewis Mills, breaking to the right with Calvert on him. Cox is on Quillen. Pass down the right side goes, and moving out with it is Mills deep. Hands off straight away, and then there's Dave Kuhn moving to the right side, gives over to Penn, takes a 25-foot jump shot, and it's short, bounces on the floor, and picked up and fired back up there. Good by Dave Kuhn of VPI for the first field goal in the game, and Virginia Tech leads by 2-0. Here's a high pivot pass going to Beck, handed off to Calvert. He's turned off by Coates, out to Cox, jump shot no good. Tapped up by Krigler, no good. Taken off by Virginia Tech. As it's knocked away from Coates, it's picked up by Lewis Mills. So Kentucky fails to score its first trip down the court. Cox missing an outside shot. Now here's Lewis Mills down the right side with Hatton on him. Passes out front to Kuhn. Back over to Mills into the top rim of the circle. He flips outside, and a set shot by Penn is off to the left, no good. Taken off by Cox, flipped up to Calvert. He goes down 1 against 3. Off on the right side, watch Cox go through, feeds him at the baseline. He goes under the basket, out of shooting position, gives to Krigler, wide open. He hits it 5 feet to the left. John Krigler gets Kentucky's first field goal, and it ties the game at 2-2 after 1 minute and 20 seconds of play. Virginia Tech back to the move as 5'9" Lewis Mills crosses the 10-second stripe to the right side. The pass goes down to Quillen. Here's a pass intended in the pivot, and a pushing foul against Krigler as the offended man, Kuhn, moves back and hits the bench right beside Chuck Noe. Foul on John Krigler is the first one of the ball game. Dave Kuhn of VPI is up for the free throw. 1 shot coming. It is good. VPI again takes the lead, this time by 1 point, as 6'3" Dave Kuhn will get a bonus shot. VPI placing both of their 5'9" guards in a safety just inside the front court, some 4 or 5 feet. Kuhn back on the free throw line after 1 minute, 29 seconds, shoots the bonus shot, no good. Beck stabs it across, whistle at the baseline. Somebody for Kentucky had their foot in the alley, Johnny Cox. And another free throw is being awarded Dave Kuhn. Cox came over in that 3-second zone too soon before the ball was on the rim of the basket. 3 seconds rolled off the clock during that play. The bonus shot again is missed. Tapped up by Coates, no good. Taken off by Hatton. Fired to Krigler, who wasn't watching, but saved it knee high. Over to Calvert, back to Krigler, out deep on the right side. Pass over to Hatton, top rim of the circle to the left. Hatton backs away to balance his court. Gives a high pivot pass right back to Calvert. Driving, he lays it in. Jerry Calvert speeding through for his first field goal, and the Cats have the lead for the first time in the ball game at 4-3. Virginia Tech walking up the backcourt is Terry Penn. Moves past the 10-second stripe now with a burst of speed. Moves in on Hatton. Lays it off for Kuhn, and a jump shot no good off the free throw line is rebounded by Krigler of Kentucky. Whipped to Johnny Cox, moving just over the dividing line, pulling up, feeding to Calvert. Down the right side to Hatton. He breaks into the baseline. Fakes off and gives to Beck, and here's a 20-foot one-hander that's good. Ed Beck, hitting from the outside, gets his first field goal, and Kentucky leads by 6-3. Virginia Tech has had 2 leads of 2-0 and 3-2. Now here's a pass on the left side to Dave Kuhn. Back over to Mills. Mills gives to Coates at the free throw line, out high on the pivot. Pass over to Quillen, back to Coates. Knocked down but Beck, fight for it. Coates got it in the deep right corner. Passes into Quillen, and a hook, good. Quillen, 6'6" forward for the Gobblers, gets his first field goal and cuts Kentucky's lead to 1 point. Pass to Krigler, then to Beck in the pivot. He spins right, and a high hook is no good. Bounces off, Calvert taps up no good, and takes it off in the rebound. Fakes a shot and whistle at the baseline. He's called for walking, and the ball goes out of bounds to VPI. Kentucky has a 1-point lead after 3 minutes have gone here in this ball game at New Orleans. The annual Sugar Bowl tournament. Up in front court now, Mills on the crisscross moves to the left with Calvert on him. Pass over to Terry Penn. He's got Hatton on him, playing him rather loosely out deep now. Quillen gets it. Breaks in on a 1-bounce dribble to the free throw line. Cox stabs for the ball, gets it, but unable to jar it loose as the pass goes over to Dave Kuhn. Then it goes out to Terry Penn. He pumps up from 20 feet, a one-hander that's under the rim. Out of bounds to Virginia Tech as Johnny Cox touched it. VPI keeps possession right under their own basket. 6'3" Dave Kuhn passes into the left corner to Coates, the big 6'7" center. Out front to Penn. Back over to Mills. Breaking to the right. Fakes Calvert up into the air. Can't shoot. Gives to Coates. One-hander. No good. Beautiful rebound with back. High pass goes out to Calvert, who starts at dribbling. Whips to Krigler on the right side. Moving in. Back to Calvert. Calvert looks for Cox. Can't get to him in the pivot with a pass. Backs out to set it up. Passes to Cox on the right side. Out to Hatton. He sets, then moves down in against Penn. Goes in under the boards, out of shooting position. Gives to Cox, and a jump shot high on the boards is no good. Knocked down by Coates. A fight for the ball, and VPI's got it. Still trailing by 1 point after 4 minutes have gone. Walking up the backcourt is Lewis Mills. Passes the 10-second stripe. Then breaks by, and Hatton loses him, but he turns off to the right and doesn't shoot into Coates. Knocked back out. Picked up by Penn. Fakes to break again. Gives to Coates, and a hook. It's in. Abe Coates with a loping hook shot, his first of the ball game, gives VPI the lead, 7-6. Kentucky had a 6-3 lead. VPI's come back now with a field goal and 2 free throws. Pass goes to Beck in the pivot. Turns around. Double team. Ball knocked down, but he moves out to pick it up and flips over to Cox to Calvert. Calvert calls Hatton out and sets it up now, moving to the left, looking to Krigler. Turns back and then flips to Krigler on the left side, back out to Hatton. Here goes a 35-foot one-hander. It's no good. Bounces high off the rim to the left. Cox knocks it down, but Coates gets it for VPI. Passes her over to Terry Penn. He moves up in front court for VPI, moving down the left side, cutting back to the center, giving off to Mills, breaking down the side, trying to get the screen shot out deep. Over to Quillen, who takes a 20-foot one-hander that's short of the rim. Ed Beck rebounding, whips it over to Jerry Calvert. High past Cox on the left side of the front court, moving into the corner, turning and coming out. Passes to Hatton, to Beck in on the free throw line high pivot. Watches Hatton go by, and then he tries to get to him, and it's knocked down by Abe Coates of VPI and picked up by Dave Kuhn. As Kentucky makes a trip down the court without a shot, VPI has possession and a lead of 7-6. We've played 5.5 minutes. Down the right side goes Mills, passes out to Dave Kuhn, breaks in, free throw line jump shot, bounces off of there. Coates taps no good, knocked away, picked up by Dave Kuhn. He fires a one-hander that's short and off the rim, and VPI continues to battle the Wildcats up on that rim. Here it goes up to Calvert, over to Cox down the right side. He lays it up and walks with it, and it's out of bounds to VPI. So Kentucky's going to have to call timeout, the first one of the ball game, with 14 minutes, 13 seconds here in the first half, and VPI in possession of the ball at the baseline and backcourt, and a lead of 7-6. Kentucky has 3 field goals. Calvert, Beck, and Krigler each hitting for 1. The leading scorer in the game is Dave Kuhn of VPI with a field goal and a free throw. John Quillen and Abe Coates each have a field goal as the Gobblers right now lead by 1 point. It's 7-6. It's not been too sharp of a game played by either team so far. Kentucky has had the lead at 6-3. VPI broke on top 2-0, tied at 2-all. They came back for a free throw and a lead of 3-2, and then Kentucky reeled off their run of 2 straight field goals and took a lead of 6-3. Since then, we've seen VPI come back with those 2 field goals that right now has put them on top by 1 point. Kentucky called the timeout, and we're ready to go back to play. Houston upset Alabama in the first game tonight, 76-68. Now VPI is going to put it in play off the side of the backcourt, where Lewis Mills feeds it into Terry Penn, and VPI comes back to the attack with a 1-point advantage. Moving in, then angling to the right with Calvert on him. Penn shoots and misses it all. Cox has it knocked away from him and out of bounds to VPI, over the baseline to the left of their own basket. Out of bounds is Kuhn, passes to Coates in the left corner, under the basket to Quillen, and Cox fouls him from the rear, trying to knock down the incoming pass. It's the first foul on Cox, only the second one of the ball game, and John Quillen is on the VPI free throw line for 1 shot. 13 minutes, 55 seconds here in the first half. 6'6" John Quillen, who's the tallest forward on either team, shoots and it's good. So VPI has a 2-point lead now, and a bonus shot coming to Quillen. It's no good. Knocked down by Beck, and Calvert gets him behind him. VPI still leading 8-6 as Calvert moves in front court. Passes out deep to Beck and back to Calvert. Fakes to balance court and then breaks, gives to Beck. Bad pass, and it's taken over by VPI's Terry Penn. So that's the 3rd straight trip down the court that Kentucky has not had a shot at the basket. Now here's Penn giving and breaking in wide open to lay it in. Dave Kuhn for his 2nd field goal, and VPI leads 10-6, the longest lead of the game for either team. Calvert down the left side to Cox, a 1-bounce dribble back to Hatton, breaking to the left of the baseline. He's got 3 men going for him, and he passes out to Cox on the left side. Out front to Calvert, it's knocked down, but Calvert scoops it up. Passes to Beck, 15-foot jump shot is no good as he's hit from the rear. Then the ball pounded up high in the air is taken by VPI's Lewis Mills. Kentucky unable to hit, unable to get the good shots. Now here's Mills breaking in against Hatton. Good with a jump shot right over him. Lewis Mills gets his first field goal, and VPI leads 12-6 as Ray Mills comes off with his warm-up jacket to come into the ball game. Here's Hatton driving under the basket, has it taken away from him and scooped up by Dave Kuhn of VPI. Well, Virginia Tech so far has completely outplayed the Wildcats, dominating in every department here. As Penn moves down the left side, flips off to Kuhn, back to Mills, moving down the left side, deep on Hatton, and passing out front. Terry Penn breaks to the right, can't get his screen as Calvert comes through it. He gives over, moves down the right side. Kuhn goes near the corner, then passes up the right side to John Quillen, looking for Coates in the pivot, can't get it to him. Out front to Penn, to Mills, breaking to the right side, goes down on Hatton and shoots, no good, but Hatton fouled him. It's the first foul on Hatton, the third one against Kentucky, and Ray Mills comes in at forward for the Wildcats. 23-year-old senior from Manchester, replacing John Krigler. Mills from Clay County, 6'4", weighs 199, averaging 4.5 a game with a total of 18 points. His best night was against Duke when he scored 11. Here is Lewis Mills on the free throw line for VPI. 2 shots coming. The first one's no good. 12 minutes and 18 seconds here in the first half. VPI leading 12-6. Kentucky had a 6-3 lead, and VPI has rattled off 9 straight against them. Mills ready to go for the second one, shoots it up and in. VPI takes a 7-point advantage at 13-6. Here's Vernon Hatton in front court for Kentucky. Passes on the right side to Ray Mills, over to Jerry Calvert, moving down to the right side, over to Beck, and a 20-foot one-hander is good. So it is Ed Beck finally breaking the scoring ice for the Wildcats with his second field goal, and it's VPI 13, Kentucky 8 here in the early going. VPI slowing it down in backcourt now. Going on the attack is Hatton blocking the shot, attempted by Mills, picked up by Kuhn, who fires a one-hander no good, and Cox gets the rebound for Kentucky. Over to Hatton, who moves up in front court, pulls up and bounce passes to Mills on the right side. He walks with it, and it's out of bounds to VPI. 13-8, VPI leading Kentucky here in the first half with 11.5 minutes to go. Here's Penn in front court on the right side to Quillen, and the pivot to Coates, knocked down and picked up by Calvert as Beck breaks it up. Over to Hatton, back to Calvert, wide open, lays it in. Fast breaking, the Cats pick up another field goal as Calvert gets his second of the game. And 2 quick field goals by Kentucky, Beck and Calvert, has narrowed the VPI 7-point lead down to 3, 13-10. Back in front court now, moving in. Lewis Mills out deep with it on the right side. Passes over to Penn, fakes left, comes right, Beck covers up on him. Then the pass is over to Kuhn, to the left side, and away from Hatton, breaking in, missing the shot, and Beck rebounds as it's pumped up there by Lewis Mills, over to Calvert. Kentucky breaking 4-on-2. Mills on the left side, jumps and hits. Ray Mills with his first field goal cuts the VPI lead to just 1 point. Here's Virginia Tech taking timeout. It's their first of the ball game. And so we have seen Kentucky come back now with Ed Beck hitting, then Jerry Calvert, and now Ray Mills to cut Virginia Tech's 7-point lead down to 1 at 13-12. Calvert and Beck each have 4 points. Kentucky has not had a free throw yet. Krigler and Mills have each picked up a field goal. Virginia Tech's leading scorer, and still the leading scorer in the game, is 6'3" Dave Kuhn, who has 5 points on 2 field goals and a free throw. Lewis Mills has 3 points and a field goal and a pair of free throws. John Quillen, 3 points, a field goal and a free throw. And Abe Coates, 2 points on 1 field goal. 10 minutes, 52 seconds to go as Jim Settles checks in for VPI. Settles, S-E-T-T-L-E-S, 21-year-old senior, is from Blacksburg. He's 6 feet tall, weighs 180 pounds. He'll be coming in at guard. And Terry Penn, let's see.
Number 22.
It is Terry Penn that's out of the VPI lineup as Settles joins Mills at the guard. 10 minutes, 52 seconds here in the first half. VPI leading 13-12. And they have the ball at the dividing line and going back to the attack with Settles in front court off to Mills, moving to the right side against Hatton. Cox has to pick him up, and he blocks the shot beautifully, but coming out the other side, Mills gets the rebound. Passes out deep with it, Settles over to the right to Quillen, moves out to the top of the circle, hands off, and against Cox, the break is cut off, and then out to Settles on the right side and deep with Calvert on him. Back over to Lewis Mills, who walks up the left side. Cox has been switched off on the little 5'9" guard. Vernon Hatton is in against Quillen, the 6'6" forward. Pass goes to Quillen, breaks to his left, lobs a hook that's no good, comes off to Hatton, who pulls it in, cocks that arm and rips a pass to Calvert. moving down the right side of Kentucky's front court. He pulls up, passes out deep to Beck, and he hands off to Hatton. Takes a 25-foot one-hand jump shot, no good. Beck high off the rebound, knocks it down, and Cox moves out, and then Calvert moves in, and the collision, the ball is out of bounds. And it goes to Virginia Tech. Now the other official disagreed, so we'll have a jump ball. Calvert will jump against Mills, giving Calvert 2 inches height advantage as he stands 5'11" on the center court jump. 9 minutes, 57 seconds in the ball game. Nobody gets it, then it's batted into the official by Lewis Mills, and we'll jump again. The toss, Calvert taps, Cox gets it just in front court. Moves to the left, pulls up at the free throw line, and underhands a pass out to Beck over to Calvert. Calvert breaks to the left, feeds off to Cox. 20-foot jump shot, it's good. So Johnny Cox finally breaks the scoring drought with his first field goal of the night, and Kentucky has the lead. As Kentucky has just been able to run off 8 straight points on 4 field goals when they were trailing by 13-6. Here's a jump shot up by Mills, good for Virginia Tech. Lewis Mills' second field goal of the game and 5th point. Virginia Tech again leads 15-14. Calvert, high pass to Mills on the left side. He moves out front, gives to Vernon Hatton, who has taken a couple of shots from the outside and been unable to hit so far. Pass to Beck out to Calvert. Calvert takes a 35-foot set shot, no good, glances off of the rim. Cox knocks it down, Beck knocks it outside. Calvert races in, fires it back in, too late. Virginia Tech gets it off the side of the backcourt. Virginia Tech 15, Kentucky 14, with 9 minutes here in the first half of play. Houston upset Alabama in the first game, 76-68. Now Settles in front court, walks with it, making a fake against Jerry Calvert, and the Cats take over down in back court. Pass quickly from Mills into Hatton on the right side of the offensive court. Back out to Mills, almost hit him in the face with it. Then to Calvert, who sets up his attack. Passes left to Cox, a one-bounce dribble, flips out to Hatton. He fires one into Beck, takes a handoff, cuts to the right, and passes outside again to Calvert. Waiting to get in for Virginia Tech is Terry Penn. As Calvert out deep with it, passes to Cox on the bounce. Back to Calvert, into Hatton, goes through, wide open, and lays it in. Vernon Hatton of Kentucky gets his first field goal of the game, and the Cats are in front 16-15. Walking past the dividing line now, Lewis Mills moves in, settles to Mills, moving to the left side on the crisscross. Gives over to Dave Kuhn, moves out to the free throw line, whips over to the right side to Jim Settles. Settles moves in, hands off to Mills, breaking to the right, and the jump shot bounces off of the rim, no good. Cox slaps it down, Calvert picks it up, knocked to the floor, rolls it to Hatton, up in front court to Mills on the left side, moves in and shoots, good, and Mills is called for charging. Is the goal good? No, they nullify the goal, and Mills, charging, commits his first foul of the game. We've had only 4 personal fouls called in this game, which is now 12 minutes old, and all 4 have been against Kentucky. So Virginia Tech at the free throw line has a chance to tie this game up and go ahead. Dave Kuhn, who has hit one and missed one, is up for the shot. Cox and Beck have the under the basket rebounding positions for Kentucky. Now Dave Kuhn, the 6'3" forward, is ready to go. Shoots a right-handed shot that's good and ties the game at 16 all. So now Kuhn, who's just picked up his 6th point, he leads all scorers again, is back at the free throw line for the bonus shot. He sights, and here it is, good. And Virginia Tech is back in front, 17-16. Kentucky's had a lead of 3 points. Virginia Tech's had a lead of 7. Right now, VPI leads by 1. Calvert on the left side to Mills, back to Calvert. Hatton goes through, the passes to Cox, and off the top of the circle, the jump shot's no good. Beck taps, it no good, taps again, no good. Cox rebounds, fights to hold on at the baseline, then Mills goes for it, and it's out of bounds. He was forced out, so Kentucky takes it. Over the baseline, just to the right of the basket. Beck calls his play. The pass is out to Calvert on the right side, about 20 feet away, into the right corner to Hatton, and the pivot to Beck. The defense collapses, and he hooks, hits. Ed Beck with a 15-foot hook shot becomes Kentucky's leading scorer with his 3rd field goal, and the Cats lead 18-17. VPI walking it back up as Lewis Mills moves down the right side with it. Hits Quillen on a crisscross and then passes out. And Dave Kuhn flips back over to Mills, moving into the free throw line. Flips back outside. Terry Penn backs away. Back out deep to Lewis Mills, breaking to the right against Hatton, who turns him, drives him back into the right corner. Pass comes outside again to Penn. Back over to Mills, feeds in there beautifully, and Mills fouls as Dave Kuhn jumps to shoot. It's the 2nd foul on Ray Mills, the 5th against Kentucky. 2 shots are being awarded Dave Kuhn, who's hit 3 out of 4. 6 minutes, 55 seconds in the first half. Dave Kuhn with a chance to put VPI back on top. He sights, shoots, good. Ties the game at 18 all. Now with his 2nd shot, can put Virginia Tech back in front. Dave Kuhn back at the line, sighting. The right-hander pushes it up and in. Virginia Tech 19, Kentucky 18. Calvert back in front court, passes to Cox on the left side, breaks against Quillen, lays it in driving. Johnny Cox driving for his second field goal, gives Kentucky another 1-point lead at 20-19 as the teams battle away now on even terms. VPI has picked up the last 4 points on free throws, all of them by Kuhn. Here's a break and a jump shot by Mills. It rolls off the rim to Beck, who has it knocked away from him. A fight for it. It's loose, picked up by Coates. He's tied up with it. Knocked to the floor by Beck, Cox, and Calvert. The jump will be on the VPI free throw line. The two centers, both 6'7". Coates of VPI. Now they wave in Calvert to jump at 5'11" and gives VPI 8 inches height advantage on their free throw line. So here's a toss. Calvert jumps. The tap is to Johnny Cox, however. Tapped too hard for Quillen, the man intended for, to hand on to it. Up it goes to Jerry Calvert, down the left side to Hatton, flipped off to Cox, and a 20-foot jump shot. Bounces off the rim, no good. VPI has all the rebounding strength, and it's pulled in by Dave Kuhn. Passed up the way to Terry Penn, and moves across the 10-second stripe. Kentucky with a 1-point lead at 20-19. Here's a jump shot by Penn, and it's off to the left side, no good. Picked up by Kuhn on the bounce. Moves out with a one-bounce dribble, and a jump shot comes off there, no good. Cox slaps it down on the boards and can't hold on. Fired up there then again, and it's no good by Kuhn. Taken off by Mills. He drops it between his legs, has it taken away from him. And here's a wide-open shot, no good from 5 feet away. And Mills moves in to tie up with Dave Kuhn. Now Johnny Brewer coming into the Kentucky lineup, going to replace Ray Mills, but he can't get in because Mills is jumping. Ray Mills, 6'4", moving in against Dave Kuhn, giving Kentucky 1-inch height advantage in back court, and the tap goes to VPI's John Quillen. Spins right, hooks left, no good. Ed Beck gets the rebound. Kentucky holds on to that 1-point lead as Calvert in front court passes to Cox, moving in for a 5-footer that's no good. Calvert taps no good. Mills rebounds, drops it again, and it's picked up by Coates of VPI. Well, the Gobblers from VPI going back to the attack now. Moving in front court with it is Lewis Mills. Comes down the right side. Passes out to Penn with Calvert on him. He breaks to the right. Gives off to Mills. He gets open at the free throw line, and Beck suddenly covers up on him. Pass over to Penn. Jump shot good. Terry Penn with his first field goal gives VPI the lead at 21-20. Vernon Hatton moving up the back court. Passes high to Beck on the free throw line high pivot. Turns to face Coates, who doesn't come out to pick him up. Then feeds Hatton under the basket, and he jumps to shoot. No good. But he's fouled. And it's against Terry Penn. That's the first personal foul against VPI. They lacked 3 seconds of playing 15 minutes without a personal. Before Hatton shoots, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, broadcasting the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games on New Year's Day.
Hatton ready to go now with Kentucky's first free throw of the game. He got it as it bounced 3 or 4 times in the rim before dropping in. Now it's tied up at 21-all, and Hatton's second try at the basket is good to give Kentucky the lead at 22-21. VPI attacking, as walking up the back court with it is Lewis Mills. Kentucky putting no pressure out deep on those guards. Mills moves to the left with Hatton on him. Passes out now to Penn, who sets top rim of the circle. Shot that rolls off of there, no good. Coates rebounds, knocked away and out of bounds to Kentucky. Beck feeds it in to Hatton, to Calvert at the front court. Breaks off to the right, stays deep with it. Lets Beck settle on the pivot and then passes over to Johnny Brewer on the right side, back out to Vernon Hatton. He sets, then breaks right and fires up a 5-footer that's blocked and taken away by Abe Coates. Johnny Brewer, incidentally, 6'3", weighs 182. 21-year-old senior from Anchorage, who came from Eastern High School, has 30 points for an average of 4.3 a game. Best night, Miami, where he got 8. Now here's Dave Kuhn with a shot over Brewer, who blocks the shot and moves in to scoop it up and triggers a 3-3 fast break. Off the right side to Hatton, who pulls up 15 feet away, gives to Brewer over to Calvert. He breaks to the left. The middle is blocked, and he gives out to Beck over to Calvert again. Beck goes in on the pivot, out at the free throw line. Down the left side to Cox to Calvert, moving out on the left side. Hatton goes through. Then coming through is Brewer. Shot no good from 30 feet. Beautiful rebound by Ed Beck. Turns with a jump shot, and it's no good. Taken off by Coates of VPI. We're into the last 4 minutes of the first half with Kentucky leading 22-21. VPI battling him here right on even terms. Up in front court with it now, Lewis Mills, tom-tomming the ball as he walks down the right side with Vernon Hatton letting him control the ball. Over to Dave Kuhn, who walks with it, juggled it, pass up near his shoulder. Kentucky takes over. Calvert out of bounds right at the 10-second line, looks for somebody open, then passes out deep right in the center jump circle to Vernon Hatton. Moves in, bounces to Brewer on the right side, back to Hatton. Calvert goes through, passes out to Johnny Cox, breaking through to the right, a collision under the basket. Cox is called for walking with it, and it goes over to VPI. Kentucky leading 22-21. as VPI gets the ball back. Buck Jones waiting to get in now for Virginia Tech. Kentucky still putting no pressure on VPI out front, laying it on the back line for them. Here's Quillen with it out deep at the top rim of the circle. Passes over to Kuhn. Now back to Mills. Threatens to go down the middle. Hatton turns him away. Gives over to Penn. Moving along the free throw line and backing away from Calvert. Over to Lewis. Mills moves down the right side. Screen not there. Passes out to Kuhn. Over on the left side to Penn. Moves in against Hatton and passes back out to Kuhn. Then a pass across the deep front part of the court to Mills. Hands off to Kuhn on the left side. Threatens toward the pivot. Kentucky has it congested. And the pass is back out front to Penn for a 20-foot jump shot that is good. Terry Penn with his second field goal gives VPI the lead 23-22. Calvert to Hatton and back to Calvert, who says something to one of the officials moving up the back court. High pivot pass goes to Ed Beck. Beck passes back out to Calvert. Calvert moving out to set it up now. Calls Brewer in on the left side, and the pass is over to Hatton, over to Ed Beck. Back to Calvert, moving down the left side. He hooks it back and no good. Taken off by VPI as it's pulled in by Quillen. Then handed off to Lewis Mills. There are 2 minutes in the first half. VPI leading 23-22 as the break by Mills against Hatton pulled him up at the baseline. Pass out to Penn. 30-foot set over Calvert's in and out. Coates misses the tap up as it's taken out by Cox. Fed over to Calvert for a 3-on-2 fast break. Calvert feeds Johnny Brewer. 10-foot jump shot, no good. And knocked down by Cox, picked up by Calvert out deep. Down the right side to Johnny Brewer. Brewer passes over to Beck, and at the free throw line, a jump shot, no good. Beck slaps it up, and it rolls out of there, no good. I can't see either. Now it goes down to Virginia Tech in back court on the rebound as it is pulled in by Penn. So VPI sets it up now with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. They hold a 1-point advantage. Out deep with it, Terry Penn angling to the right, giving off to Quillen. Out to Dave Kuhn. VPI weaving out deep. All 4 men involved, everybody but Coates, the pivot, who floats back and forth out deep. Now goes to the baseline as the pass is over to Lewis Mills. Brewer picked off, and the shot no good. Taken off by Johnny Cox of Kentucky. Over to Calvert, up the way to Johnny Brewer. Gives over to Calvert, driving to the left. Double team, flips out to Brewer. Off the right side to Cox. 20-footer, no good. Tapped in, wide open by Vernon Hatton. Second field goal by Hatton, and with 50 seconds here in the first half, Kentucky leads 24-23. Now VPI moving back in very slowly as they walk up the backcourt. Lewis Mills with the ball, a little 5'9" guard. Same height as Terry Penn. Gives it to him on the crisscross. Kentucky just walking defensively as VPI walks offensively. Kentucky not trying to disturb their style of play out deep at all. Now Mills just decides to pull up and stand with it on his hand, and Hatton moves in against him, and he dribbles a little. Very, very lifeless sort of ball game. Neither team playing well. VPI going to freeze out for one shot. We got 12 seconds to go. Mills out deep, tom-tomming it with Hatton about 7 feet away in a defensive position. 5 seconds to go now, and VPI goes to work for the shot. Penn takes it, shot way off the mark. Cox rebounds for Kentucky, and the first half is over. So at the end of the first half, the score is Kentucky 24, VPI 23. Well, we'll have some other late scores for you as we get time through this ball game now. Coates and Beck, the two centers, both at 6'7", standing against each other, and the second half starts as the tap is down deep to Vernon Hatton in back court. He picks it up, moves in front court, waves Krigler off the right side, and starts down the right side with a screen from Beck. 2 men go for him. Hatton picks up and feeds out to Beck on the right side. Cox gets it at the free throw line, back to Beck, 20-foot jump shot way short, glances off the rim to Quillen of VPI. So Kentucky fails to score its first trip down the court. VPI walking up the backcourt, and Kentucky is going to play a little more aggressively out deep. As moving in, the handoff is from Mills, over to Penn, breaking to the right. Hands off to Quillen at the free throw line. He flips off to Lewis Mills, breaking to the right. Calvert playing him a bit loosely now. Hatton picks him up as he goes into the corner. Out to Penn. He makes a fake to shoot and then gives off to Mills, threatening to go down the middle and backs away. Mills crisscrosses, hands off to Penn, gets away from Calvert, then flips off on the side to Mills, cuts across the dividing line, forces up a shot that's good. Lewis Mills gets his third field goal, and VPI leads 25-24. Here's Krigler on the right side for Kentucky, passing out to Beck, and it's knocked away from him and out of bounds by Lewis Mills of VPI. Kentucky has it on the right side of the offensive court. Jerry Calvert out of bounds to put it in play, looks toward the basket, nobody open, and he passes in the backcourt to Hatton. High pass to Beck at the free throw line, hands off to Calvert going down the middle. Coates stops him and he shoots. Coates blocks the shot, but Hatton picks it up on the bounce and fires. Good, 5 feet to the right. Vernon Hatton with his third field goal, and Kentucky's back in front by 1 point as Kentucky's guards pick up in back court. Lewis Mills gets past the dividing line, then moves down the right side, gets away from Calvert, wide open, and lays it in. The second straight field goal for Lewis Mills, his fourth of the ball game, and VPI leads 27-26. High pass to Beck from Calvert on the pivot. Calvert goes by, Hatton goes by, and the ball is faked to Krigler, then hooked good by Ed Beck. Beck hooks in his fourth field goal of the game. He's Kentucky's leading scorer, along with Hatton, each with 8 points. And it's 28-27 for the Wildcats. Up in front court now is Terry Penn of VPI, angling off to the right side and handing off to Quillen. Looks at the basket over Johnny Cox and passes over on the left side to Lewis Mills, who weaves, comes across the free throw line to the right side, and passes in out deep to Terry Penn. Penn moves to the left, cuts back to the right, fires from 20 feet, and the shot's good. Terry Penn with his third field goal, and VPI leads 29-28. The team's battling away here on even terms now through the early going. High pass to Beck on the pivot. Hatton goes through. It's handed off to Calvert, who breaks down the middle, and he's tied up with it. Let's see, a foul against VPI. John Quillen is drawing his first foul of the game. That's only the second foul against VPI as Jerry Calvert makes his first appearance at the game on the free throw line. Calvert on the line, shooting and hitting. Bonus shot coming to Calvert as the game is tied at 29 all with 17 minutes and 36 seconds to play. Calvert, feet well apart, dips, flips it in. Kentucky 30, VPI 29, as that's only the fourth free throw Kentucky's had in the ballgame so far, and they've hit them all. Up in front court, Terry Penn moving in against Calvert, breaks down to the right to the baseline, then passes out to Lewis Mills. He cuts to the left with Hatton on him, flips off, and Dave Kuhn gets it. Calvert knocks it down, races in, flips over to Krigler. Kentucky's got it. 3-3 down the middle is Hatton for the shot that's good. Hatton floats in his fourth field goal to become Kentucky's leading scorer, and timeout VPI. They're second of the ball game with Kentucky leading 32-29, finally able to increase that lead of 1 point now to 3 with 17 minutes, 14 seconds here in the ball game. Right now, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, broadcasting the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games on New Year's Day.
Here's a change in the VPI lineup. Dave Kuhn is coming out for the first time, and in to replace him is Buck Jones, who's 6'3", weighs 185. VPI not gaining or losing height there. Jones, a 21-year-old junior from Richmond, Virginia. Well, we've just been handed a note here by Larry Beck, covering for the Kerr Journal, that this is the 19th time this lead has changed hands. And now, going into the second half over in Louisville, the Cardinals are leading St. Louis by 7 points. Louisville 37, St. Louis 30. And in the finals down at the Orange Bowl, Pittsburgh has beaten the Hilltoppers of Western 85-81. Those are the late scores we have as we go back to play here in New Orleans. VPI attacking as they trail now by 3 points. That's this, incidentally, is the second time Kentucky's had a 3-point lead, one early in the half. Here's Lewis Mills moving down the right side. Beck finally moves out to get him and knock the ball out of bounds. Goes over to VPI under their own basket. Kentucky 32, VPI 29. Out of bounds is Buck Jones to put the ball in play. Passes one out to Quillen. Cox slapped forward and missed it. Quillen out front to Lewis Mills. VPI balancing court. Coach comes out to the free throw line, and a 20-foot jump shot by Penn is good. Terry Penn gets his fourth field goal, 2 in each half, and it is a 32-31 ball game as Kentucky has a 1-point lead. Vernon Hatton crisscrosses with Calvert, moving in front court to the left side with a bounce pass to Cox. Breaks to the baseline, goes all the way and shoots no good, and it's taken off by the little 5'9" guard Lewis Mills of VPI. He breaks up against Hatton, comes across the dividing line, then sets it up with a break to the left, starts down the middle and flips off on the side to Quillen. Under the basket to Coates. He loops up a hook, short. Beck takes it down and holds on against defensive pressure. Gives it over to Calvert. It's knocked down out of bounds and VPI gets it. Ed Beck races over to tell the official that Coates of VPI knocked it away, but to no avail as Virginia Tech gets it back, and Lewis Mills moves to the left, breaks in against Hatton, and turns off and gives to Quillen on the left side. They're trying to work the pivot now as Beck's playing Coates tightly. Penn from the outside hits again. 5 field goals in the ball game for Terry Penn. That's more than anybody else. And VPI's on top 33-32 as Ray Cassidy comes off the bench. Vernon Hatton walks with it in back court. VPI takes over again. Twice Kentucky has lost the ball without getting it in front court. The incoming pass to Mills. Timeout is taken by Kentucky. It's the second timeout for each team. Well, we saw VPI behind 32-29 call timeout and pick up 2 field goals to take a lead of 1 point. 33-32. Each team so far has called 2 times out. Here are some other late scores. Ball games around the country. Detroit has beaten Boston University tonight. Detroit 75, Boston University 58. Richmond has defeated Davidson. Richmond 92, Davidson 63. And in the Gator Bowl tonight, Florida defeated Clemson. Florida 105 and Clemson 71. Utah defeats West Virginia tonight. Utah 83 and West Virginia 66. Those are the late scores that we have for you right now. In this ball game at New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl game, 15 minutes and 25 seconds to go. VPI leading Kentucky by 1 point. So the warning horn sounds for the start of the second half. The second 15 minutes and 25 seconds of play. Bill Cassidy now in the Kentucky lineup, 20-year-old junior from Inez, stands 6'2", weighs 191. Cassidy has 13 points this season, an average of 2.6 a game. Cassidy's best night was against Miami, where he got 5. He's replaced Calvert at guard. Now here's the pass over to Lewis Mills as VPI goes to the attack with a 1-point lead. Up in front court, Mills hands off to Buck Jones out deep at the circle, and he walks with it. The ball goes over to Kentucky. Cassidy quickly out of bounds. Has to pass it in back court to Vernon Hatton, right back to Cassidy, moving in front court. Down the right side to Krigler, a 1-bounce dribble, and back to Cassidy, who moves to the right corner, then spins back to the left, gives to Beck at the free throw line. Beck turns, gives to Hatton under the basket. He fakes Penn, comes up with a shot that's knocked down and taken by Buck Jones of VPI. Cassidy goes down in back court to pick up on Terry Penn and falls down as Penn goes right by him and then stops on the right side. VPI leading by 1 point. Breaking, here's a foul call against Kentucky. Cassidy has committed his first foul. VPI seems to be gaining strength now as we go into the last 14 and a half minutes of play. Abe Coates is on the free throw line for the first time in the ball game for 1 shot. He had set a screen for Lewis Mills, and Cassidy, trying to go through, hit him. The shot, good. VPI takes a 2-point lead. This is VPI's best lead of the second half. Kentucky had a 3-point lead, 32-29, and VPI has whipped in 5 straight points on them. Just exactly what happened when they got a 3-point lead in the first half. Here's the bonus shot. It's good. After 3 bounces on the rim, VPI 35, Kentucky 32. Cassidy moving up past the dividing line for the Wildcats now. Passes on the left side to John Krigler, out to Hatton. Hatton sets, breaks right. 20-foot jump shot by Hatton's no good. High off of there is Coates of VPI to get the rebound. Passes over to Lewis Mills, who breaks up in front court. Kentucky trying to tighten up defensively out deep against these freewheeling little 5'9 guards. And the pivot to Coates. He hooks, and it's no good, but a foul against Beck of Kentucky is his first one. 14 minutes and 14 seconds in this ball game, and 2 shots are being awarded to Abe Coates of VPI. Coates has not missed. Stands in for the first shot. That's good. Kentucky had a 3-point lead in the first half, and VPI reeled off 10 straight points on them. Kentucky here's had a 3-point lead, and the Gobblers have run off 7 points on them right now. Here's the second shot, good by Coates, and VPI leads 37-32. Well, this could be the critical part of the game now. Will Kentucky crack or will they come out of it? Here's Cassidy out deep, feeding Beck, and it's knocked down by Mills, but picked up by Krigler of Kentucky. Back to Cassidy, to Krigler on the right side, breaks in, picked up by 2 men, gives back to Cassidy on the right side. Over to Beck, 20 feet away to the right. Abe Coates slapping for the ball. Into Cox, a left-handed hook way over the rim, no good. Beck gets the rebound and shoots it up, no good. Fight for the ball under the boards. Who's got it? Nobody. Finally, it's picked up by VPI's Abe Coates. He bounces her out, and here is Terry Penn breaking in quickly, 2-on-1 over to Quillen, who shoots no good, but a foul against Kentucky under the basket. It is Vernon Hatton. Nope, it's Cox that's drawing the foul, his second of the game. 13 minutes and 40 seconds to go. John Quillen of VPI is on the free throw line. He's hit 1 and missed 1. He's got 2 tries coming this time as VPI's pulled in front now by 5 points. 37-32, and a chance to increase it to 7 points and equal their 7-point lead of the first half. Quillen's first try is good. Well, Houston upset Alabama in the first game, and the upset's in the making here in the second game. Quillen in for the second shot. The right-hander eyes and hits. VPI 39, Kentucky 32, and exactly the same things happened. Kentucky took a 3-point lead in the first half, and VPI hit 10 straight points on them. Now the same thing here in the second half. Kentucky took a 32-29 lead, and now they trail 39-32. Cassidy in front court, hooks to Beck, goes by, gets the return pass, drops it, and walks with it, and it's out of bounds to VPI. Mills out of bounds. Kentucky picking up in backcourt. Mills looking for somebody to throw it to. Krigler cuts it off, lays it in, driving. John Krigler stealing beautifully for his second field goal of the game. Cuts the VPI lead to 5 points. Kentucky picking up in backcourt. Here's Lewis Mills moving in against Cassidy as Jerry Calvert waits to come back in. Moving to the left is Lewis Mills, moving to the right side. Then he hands off, and here's Buck Jones breaking in against John Krigler. Cut off, gives over to Mills. Mills standing 30 feet straight away, moves to the right side. Hands off to Quillen. Quillen mows out against Johnny Cox. Hands over to Buck Jones at the top rim of the circle. Jones threatens to go through, takes a one-bounce dribble. Passes out deep now to Terry Penn, breaks in against Vernon Hatton to the free throw line. Hands off to Mills, breaking to the left with Hatton picking up on him. Comes back, and Cassidy picks up on him as he moves down to the right. Passes out deep to Penn again. VPI leading 39-34. 12 and a half minutes in this ball game. John Quillen of VPI on the left side. Feeds Coach in the pivot. Here's the left-handed hook. No good. Beck rebounds for Kentucky. Coach stays with him at the baseline, and Beck dribbles out of there. Looks for somebody open. Who's going to find him? He passes in front court to Vernon Hatton. Hatton moves in to set it up now. Beck goes to a high pivot. Gets the pass. Hatton goes by. Return. He goes down and walks with it, and it's out of bounds to VPI. Lewis Mills out of bounds to put her in play. Gives it in to Terry Penn, moving up against Bill Cassidy. Comes past the 10-second stripe. We're into the last 12 minutes. VPI with a 5-point lead. Off the right side to Quillen, a one-bounce dribble and handed to Mills. Mills backs away, then moves down to the right toward the corner. Hatton keeps the pressure on him. Out to Buck Jones, breaks to the right on Krigler, and here's a foul as he takes a jump shot that's good. Let's see if it counts. No goal as Krigler commits his second foul of the game. Jerry Calvert checks back in, and timeout is taken by Kentucky, their third timeout of the ball game, with the score VPI 39, Kentucky 34. Here's the scoring so far for Kentucky. Calvert has 6 points. Cox has 4. Ed Beck has scored 8. John Krigler has 4. Vernon Hatton has scored 10 to lead Kentucky, and he's the only man in double figures, and Mills has the other 2 points. For Virginia Tech, Terry Penn is the leading scorer with 10 points. 3 field goals of his 5 have come here in the second half. Lewis Mills has 9 points, and Dave Kuhn is not in the ball game at the moment, has 9 points. John Quillen has picked up 5 points, and Abe Coates has picked up 6 points, 4 of the 6 here in the second half. Kentucky with a 24-23 lead at the end of the first half of play. Finally worked into a 3-point advantage, 32-29, here early in the second half of play. And Virginia Tech hit 10 straight points on them to go out into a lead of 39-32, their second 7-point lead of the game. And Kentucky, with John Krigler scoring, has been able to cut it down to 5. But as we go back to play, VPI has free throws coming. 1. Vernon Hatton has come out of the Kentucky lineup as Calvert has come in to play guard with Cassidy. Cassady. On the VPI free throw line, Lewis Mills, who's hit 1 and missed 1, shooting 2. 11 minutes, 42 seconds in the game as Mills hits. VPI takes a lead of 6 points at 40-34. It's Buck Jones shooting rather than Mills. And the second shot good by Jones. He drops them both in. So Kentucky goes back to the attack now. Here's the ball being knocked away and out of bounds by Jones as passed down the right side for Krigler. VPI 41, Kentucky 34. Calvert on the right side of the offensive court, out of bounds to put her in play. Passes into Johnny Cox. He turns, hands off to Beck on the right side, out to Cassidy. Cassidy sets it up, high pass, and the pivot goes to Beck at the free throw line. He fakes to Calvert, then whips to him on the right side. 5-footer wide open is no good. Tapped up by Krigler, twice, no good. Then by Cox, no good. As Kentucky can't get it in, Cox knocks it down, but it's picked up by Lewis Mills of VPI. Now, VPI with a 7-point lead. Going into front court, Lewis Mills gets by Calvert, who made a stab with the ball. Moves down to the left side, hands off to Buck Jones, and Calvert drives right into him and fouls him. First foul against Calvert. 11 minutes, 7 seconds to go as Buck Jones goes back to the free throw line for VPI. Jones up there for 1 shot, and he hasn't missed. Puts the right foot right up on the line and draws the left one in close. Sets and shoots. No good. Taken off by Coates. He drops it, and it's picked up by Johnny Cox of Kentucky. Over to Calvert, to Cassidy, and back to Calvert, moving in front court now, past the dividing line. As VPI holds on to that lead, we're into the last 11 minutes. Here's Krigler moving away, and then Calvert moves over to the left side, turns, comes back outside, hits Beck, takes a 20-footer that's good. Ed Beck with his 5th field goal makes it 41-36. Kentucky picking up in back court now as it passes into Jones. Flipped off to Mills, cuts in behind Calvert. Krigler picks up on him, and he crosses the dividing line out deep and cuts back to the left. Flips one off to Penn, comes off the screen. With Cassidy on him, he shoots and hits. Terry Penn sacks up his 6th field goal, 4 of them in this half, and VPI leads 43-36. Pass on the left side to Cox, back to Calvert, breaking through, and his shot's blocked out of bounds. But a foul against Coates of VPI, and it's his first one. It's only the 3rd foul committed by VPI. Calvert's up for 2 shots. 10 minutes and 18 seconds in the ball game. VPI 43, Kentucky 36. Calvert shoots and hits. It's only the 5th free throw in the ball game Kentucky's had. Calvert in for a bonus shot now as Kentucky trails by 6 points. Calvert shoots good. It is VPI 43, Kentucky 38. VPI going back to the attack with Lewis Mills racing in front court against Calvert on the right side, cutting back to the left. Little 5'9" guard stays in that low crouch dribble over to Terry Penn, another 5'9" guard who backs away from Cassidy, moves back in against him, breaks to the right, makes a fake, and then passes out to Lewis Mills. Mills out deep with it, now moving to the left, cutting back to the right and backing away. VPI's lost 1 out of 3 games they've played this season. Down to the right goes Lewis Mills, keeping the ball out of play. Calvert makes a break for it and can't get to it. Mills moves to the right against him, breaks for the basket, fakes Calvert, and he comes up over his back, and the foul on Calvert for charging is his 2nd of the game. 9 minutes and 46 seconds to play as Lewis Mills goes to the VPI free throw line. Mills is up for 1 shot. Earl Atkins comes off the Kentucky bench as Mills hits the free throw to give VPI a lead of 6 points. Bonus shot coming, and Atkins makes his first appearance in the Sugar Bowl tournament. 23-year-old junior from Ashland. He's 6'4", weighs 180. Cassidy is coming out. Atkins has 8 points this season, 3 of them against Washington and Lee in the opener. Atkins averaging 1.6 a game. As Lewis Mills of VPI goes back to the free throw line, this is a bonus shot. Adrian Smith comes off with a warm-up jacket and moves in close to Adolph Rupp. As the free throw's missed, Krigler rebounds for Kentucky. Passes over to Beck, a bounce pass up to Calvert. Moves in front court for Kentucky as they trail by 6 points now, 44-38. Down the right side to Krigler, who moves out, gives to Earl Atkins. He sets, doesn't shoot, pass over to Calvert. Calvert takes a move to the right, then back to the left at the free throw line, flips off to Earl Atkins. Kentucky unable to get moving now. Off the right to Krigler, back to Atkins. Calvert goes through, pass to Cox. He fakes a shot, breaks to the right, and takes a fall-away 10-footer. That's no good. Beck taps twice and in. Ed Beck with his 6th field goal. Narrows the VPI lead to 4 points. Another foul on Calvert. 3rd one, all of them in this half, as he tried to pick up too aggressively in backcourt. 9 minutes, 11 seconds in the ball game. VPI's Terry Penn goes to the free throw line for the first time in the game. Penn's got 1 try coming as he was fouled in backcourt by Calvert. He shoots, and it is no good. Tapped away beautifully by Johnny Cox and picked up by Krigler. Over to Ed Beck on the bounce up to Calvert at the dividing line. He moves in to set it up now. VPI leading 44-40. Pass over to Atkins, down the right side to Krigler. Back to Atkins, moving down the side. Calvert goes through, whips a bounce pass out to Johnny Cox. Over to Beck. Free throw line hook is good. Beautiful side angle hook by Beck for his 7th field goal. And Kentucky steals. Atkins almost got it away. Then it's scooped up by Penn. Races in against Krigler and Atkins and gets past the line. VPI 44, Kentucky 42. Calvert takes it away now from Penn. Whips over to Atkins on a fast break, and he has it taken away from him. As moving in, Terry Penn scoops it up. Drives up in front court, going in on Beck. Gives over to Quillen, who shoots. No good. Fight for the ball. Calvert picks it up. Kentucky going down 2-on-2, and Calvert pulls up out deep to stop. Wanting to tie it up now as Kentucky holds the ball and trailing 44-42, a chance to tie her up. Calvert out deep, calls Atkins to him and flips to him. Then moves inside, and Atkins feeds back a high one at the pivot. Beck holds it over his head, gives to Calvert. 30-foot set shot, it's good. Jerry Calvert from the outside with his 3rd field goal has tied it up, and timeout VPI. Well, we've seen Kentucky down by 7 points, battle back in to tie it up 44 all, and we've got 8 minutes, 7 seconds to play as Vernon Hatton comes off the Kentucky bench. Each team has called 3 times out so far. Vernon Hatton will be checking back in at guard, and in just a moment we'll know whether it is Earl Atkins. That's right, who's coming out of the game. Well, we've seen Ed Beck pick up 14 points in this game so far with 7 field goals. That's what he's done in each of the last 2 games. And here's Dave Kuhn coming back in at forward, apparently replacing Buck Jones for VPI. Well, it's a contest that's been nip and tuck all the way. Alabama and Houston were tied at 59 all with 6.5 minutes to play. And now Kentucky and VPI are tied at 44 all with just a little better than 8 minutes to go. Here in the second half, Beck has led Kentucky's offensive parade with 4 field goals. And Jerry Calvert's been right behind him. He's been able to pick up 6 points in this second half of play. Beck, incidentally, is Kentucky's leading scorer as we go back to play. Calvert and Hatton picking up in back court. Here's Lewis Mills moving in against Vernon Hatton, gets into front court, spins back out deep with it, cuts inside pin, and passes on the right side to Dave Kuhn. Hatton stabs and doesn't get it as the pass goes over to Lewis Mills. Inside the last 8 minutes of the ball game now, it's over to Terry Penn, moves down to the left corner. Calvert on him. Slapping for the ball, but unable to find it, over to Buck Jones. It's Quillen that's come out of the VPI lineup. Down in the left corner to Dave Kuhn. Moves out with it against Johnny Cox and then passes over to Terry Penn. Played loosely by Calvert. He moves in against him. Calvert picks him up tightly at the free throw line and backs him away. Then he pops a 20-foot jump shot. No good. Beck very high gets the rebound for Kentucky. Bounce passes to Jerry Calvert. Up in front court to Krigler on the left side. Out to Calvert. Beck goes into the pivot now at the free throw line, and Calvert backs away to set it up with Hatton, waving him to the left. Bounce pass to Beck, who goes off the pivot to the right, over to Krigler. Started through, cut off, pass to Calvert, 20-foot jump shot. It's good. So Jerry Calvert has picked up 2 quick field goals to tie the game and put Kentucky on top 46-44. Well, back up in front court now. Buck Jones of VPI at the free throw line, shoots, and it rolls off the rim. Coates gets it, jumps, and the shot's blocked by Krigler, but a foul is called against Kentucky. Krigler drawing personal foul number 3. 6 minutes and 53 seconds to go, and Abe Coates of VPI goes to the line for 2 shots. Coates, with a chance to tie the game up, has not missed on the free throw line tonight. Coates' sights, here's the first one, good. 46-45 as John Quillen comes back into the Virginia Tech lineup. Now the official scorer wants to talk with one of the officials, calling over to ensure the personal foul is against Krigler of Kentucky. Now, coming out, Buck Jones of VPI, as Quillen is right back in it forward with Dave Kuhn, giving VPI that added height, 3 inches. 5 straight free throws have gone through for Abe Coates in this half, and now he stands in to try to get his 6th one without a miss and tie up a 46-45 ball game. Coates dips and shoots, good. It's 46-46 as Vernon Hatton moves back in front court for Kentucky. Out deep and to the right side. Beck goes to the pivot and the passes to Calvert. Down the left to Cox on a double pivot. Back outside it goes to Calvert, over to Beck, and a 20-foot one-hand jump, in and out. Taken out by VPI's Dave Kuhn, tied up by John Krigler. Dave Kuhn 6'3", Krigler 6'3", jumping on the Kentucky free throw line. 6 minutes, 38 seconds in the ball game, which is deadlocked at 46 all. Kuhn and Krigler out ready to jump now. Here's the toss. The tip by Krigler is deep. Hatton races in, fights for it. He doesn't get it. It's taken away from him. And a jump ball is called as Lewis Mills was unable to get it away quickly enough. But they had moved down to back court, and now this jump will be in the center of the court. Vernon Hatton at 6'3" will have 4 inches of height advantage. 6 minutes, 32 seconds to play now as Hatton makes the tap just in front court to Johnny Cox. Passes right back to Hatton, who moves in, passes right side to Krigler, 1 bounce dribbling out to Hatton. Hatton threatens toward the pivot to Beck, who moves off to the right. Cox goes to the pivot, gets the pass, spins left, goes, hooks, misses, Beck taps, no good. Coates rebounds for VPI. Fights and holds on. Gives it over to Lewis Mills. Moves up the back court against Vernon Hatton, faking, driving past the dividing line. Moving down the right side, now coming back to the left along the top of the circle and giving to Dave Kuhn. Moving to the right against John Krigler. Takes a jump shot that's good. Dave Kuhn with his 3rd field goal puts VPI on top 48-46. Calvert in front court to John Cox on the left side. Back to Calvert, who breaks for the basket. His shot's blocked out of bounds. Kentucky keeps possession. Ed Beck will put it in play. VPI leading Kentucky 48-46 with 5 minutes 40 seconds in this ball game now. Now every move is critical. Passes into Hatton as Brewer gets ready to come into the game. Outside to Jerry Calvert. Backs away to set it up. Krigler on the right side gets the pass, feeds right back to Calvert. Beck goes to the pivot now. Krigler moves out, gives to Hatton, fakes a shot, breaks to the right. Coach picks up, Hatton goes by. The shot's blocked, but a foul against VPI. Coates has drawn his second foul of the game, and coming out is John Krigler, as Johnny Brewer is back in for Kentucky. Played in the first half but did not score. Vernon Hatton will be on the Kentucky free throw line, shooting 2 shots, a chance to tie up this 48-46 game. 5 minutes and 21 seconds to play. Here's Hatton's first try. Good. 48-47. Hatton with a chance to tie up the game. Sights, and here it comes. Good. VPI gets the ball with the score tied again. Now it's into Terry Penn, who moves up in front court against Jerry Calvert, turning him out deep, and then he moves back to the right, breaks to the free throw line and comes back outside. Hatton stabs forward and misses. Back to Penn, knocked down by Calvert, but picked up very quickly by Terry Penn of VPI. Makes Calvert again away and gives down to Quillen on the right side. Back out to Terry Penn, moving deep and to the left. Cuts back to the right. Calvert goes through, can't get to it. He flips over to Lewis Mills. Into the last 5 minutes now as Mills drives down the left. Calvert turns him back to the outside. He loops to the free throw line, cuts and flips off on the right side to Terry Penn. Penn goes into the dribble now. He's a left-hander, by the way. Breaks in. Brewer stabs and almost gets it. Hands off to Dave Kuhn. Here's a jump shot that's no good over the rim. Rebound dropped by Cox and scooped up quickly. Passed over to Vernon Hatton. 48-48 as the pass goes on the left side of Johnny Brewer. Back outside to Jerry Calvert. Calvert threatened to go down the middle with it. Then pass to Cox in the pivot and back to Calvert. Set shot. No good. Beck taps. No good and rebounds. Whips out to Hatton. Down the right to Brewer. Threatened one toward the pivot. Then does bounce to Beck. Pass goes over to Hatton. Moving to the right. Fakes a shot. Walks with it. Hatton went up into the air as ought to shoot and couldn't continue his dribble. Lewis Mills moving up against Calvert. Gets into front court with it for VPI. 4 minutes to go and the score tied at 48 all. Mills at the free throw line. Loops a pass out now that's pulled in. Moving down. Penn for a 20-foot jumper. In and out. No good. High one tapped out to Dave Kuhn on the rebound. He breaks right, shoots it up, and it's no good. Coach rebounds and shoots. Beck blocks, but a foul is called. Ed Beck of Kentucky drawing his second foul of the game. And 2 shots being awarded now to Abe Coates. 48-48 the score with 3 minutes 47 seconds to play, and VPI calls timeout before the free throws. Their 4th timeout of the ball game. VPI checking to make sure the time's out they've called. They've called 4 of them. Kentucky has called 3. And now we're into that very critical part of the game where every mistake can be the one that beats you. It's 48-48, and as we get ready to go back to play, it'll be Abe Coates, the 6'7" captain and center of Virginia Tech, shooting 2 free throws, and he hasn't missed. He's hit 6 straight, all of them in the second half of play. Houston upset Alabama in the first game, and VPI now battling Kentucky down here to the final 3 minutes 47 seconds, right on even terms. We'd like to remind you that Kentucky will be playing again tomorrow night. They play either against Houston if they win, or Alabama if they lose. Broadcast time will be 7:30. If it's the consolation game against Alabama, broadcast time will be 9:15 if Kentucky should play for the championship against Houston, which tonight beat Alabama 76-68. Well, tonight Illinois has smothered Princeton. Illinois 108, Princeton 87. Notre Dame has beaten Brigham Young. Notre Dame 91, Brigham Young 66. St. Francis of Brooklyn has whipped Gustavus Adolphus. St. Francis 89, Gustavus Adolphus 81. Maryland defeated Montana State tonight. Maryland 89, Montana State 72. Now we're ready for these important free throws by 6'7" Abe Coates of VPI, who has not missed. First one, no good. Coates stands in for the second one now with a chance to give VPI the lead. Coach bounces the ball once on the floor, looks, flips, shoots. It's good. VPI leads 49-48 as Kentucky gets the ball. Calvert quickly on the right side to Johnny Brewer. A one-bounce dribble and back to Calvert. Beck makes it in on the pivot, out at the free throw line. Pass to Brewer on the right side, out to Vernon Hatton. He breaks to the right, 15-foot jump shot, no good. Johnny Brewer rebounds, flips out quickly to Jerry Calvert. Calvert bounces into Johnny Cox on the left side of a double pivot. Outside to Calvert to Johnny Brewer at the top of the circle. Brewer moves to the right now, backs away from Dave Kuhn and gives to Vernon Hatton, over to Calvert. Looks toward the double pivot with Cox and Beck both in there. Passes left side, the weak side to Cox, out to Brewer, top of the circle, breaks to the right, can't shoot. Passes outside to Calvert again. Kentucky trailing by 1 point, 48-49. Here's Hatton getting it, breaks down to the right side, pulls in Coates on him at the baseline, passes to Beck out on the right side, out front to Brewer, to Calvert. Now Cox moves off the double pivot, and Calvert goes individually against Mills, flips to Beck, 15-foot jump shot, it's good. Ed Beck with his 8th field goal, the most points he's scored in a game this season to put Kentucky on top 50-49. Terry Penn gets away from Hatton, goes in against Beck, who turns him. Passes outside to Mills now with 2 minutes 40 seconds to go, breaks down the left side. Hatton turns him into the corner. Mills back out front with it now. Passes on the right to John Quillen and quickly back to Mills. Mills moves to the right. Gets Hatton screened off, but Beck picks up and he passes out to Kuhn. Off the left side to Terry Penn. Penn left corner jump shot. It's good. Penn with his 7th field goal gives VPI the lead. 51-50. Back in front court, Calvert feeding the left side of the pivot to Cox, back to Calvert. Fakes, breaks on Mills, lays it up, no good. VPI goes for it, knocked down and away, out of bounds. Goes over to VPI. And now the Gobblers, with 2 minutes to go, have the lead. Dave Kuhn gets it, gives to Penn, who dropped it, but Hatton was not watching it and didn't get it up. He hooked it away from him out of bounds. VPI keeps possession. The clock is stopped with 1 minute 53 seconds to play as the ball goes up in the crowd. VPI having possession and a 1 point lead now. Out of bounds, looking for a man to throw it to. It's coming from Penn to Mills. Mills goes in against Calvert, gets past the dividing line. Calvert goes down, and he goes in, passes wide open to Coates, who lays it in. Coates, with only his 2nd field goal of the game, has given VPI the lead 53-50. Now Kentucky must get back in this ball game with 3 points. Up in front court, Vernon Hatton passes to Johnny Cox on the left side. He faces his man, takes a one-bounce dribble, passes out to Johnny Brewer, moves down the right side, passes to Beck. He takes a 20-foot jump shot. It's way short, and rebounding Mills of VPI. Comes away from Vernon Hatton, gets by Calvert, comes on up in front court, breaks over to the right side, and now we'll see VPI probably try to freeze this ball. Hatton stabs and misses. He knocks it down again, but holding on is Terry Penn. Now he's fouled by Jerry Calvert, committing his 4th one of the ball game. And VPI is calling timeout, their last one of the ball game, number 5. And with timeout, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, broadcasting the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games on New Year's Day.
Coach Adolph Rupp now making a change with his guards, bringing in Earl Atkins and Adrian Smith for the first appearance of the ball game. Adrian Smith, a 19-year-old junior, is from Farmington, Kentucky, out in the western part of the state. A 6-footer, he weighs 178 pounds, averaging 3 points a game this season. Smith has 12, half of them scored against Maryland. Well, here's the picture of this game. It is 53-50 in favor of VPI, and when we go back to play, they will have free throws coming as the warning horn sounds. Kentucky had a 1 point lead coming into the half. But after Kentucky broke the VPI lead of 1 point and went on top 50-49, Virginia Tech has reeled off 4 straight points. Now they have a chance to increase it. Terry Penn goes to the free throw line. Penn has one try coming. We have 1 minute and 6 seconds to go. Each time in this game that Kentucky has taken the lead, VPI has run off points. Now we're ready to go with 5'9", Terry Penn shooting. He missed it. Beck taps behind him to Adrian Smith. Up the way to Earl Atkins, moving in front court with it. And 1 minute remains to play. Over to Smith. to the right side to Johnny Brewer. Mows out, takes a 20-foot jump shot, no good. Back taps, no good. And Brewer rebounds. Out to Adrian Smith, 30-foot set, good. Adrian Smith from the outside with his first field goal, and VPI has a lead now of 1 point, 53 to 52. Although the scoreboard corrects it with 35 seconds to go. VPI out into the control. Pin against Adrian Smith, deep, dribbling all the while now. VPI trying to nurse this 1 point as we go into the last half minute. Breaking to the right, Mills. Foul by Earl Atkins. First foul against Atkins. Now, let's see what will happen here with Lewis Smith on the free throw line. He's hit 2 and missed 2. He's got one coming with 24 seconds to play in VPI with a 1 point lead. Smith sets, shoots, good. VPI leading 2 points. 24 seconds to go, and here's the bonus shot coming up. 2 point VPI lead. Now Mills shoots. He got it. VPI takes another 3 point lead. And maybe another upset in the making as Adrian Smith comes back in front court for Kentucky. Breaks to the right. Pivots, gives to Atkins. He breaks in, takes a jump shot from 15 feet. That's good. Earl Atkins with his first field goal makes it 55-54. Brewer steals the ball and lays it in, coming in. Johnny Brewer with his first field goal of the ball game. 5 seconds to go. The pass into Lewis Mill. Running against Ed back. 1 second to go. He does not get the shot away, and Kentucky wins. How about it? Good golly, they pull it out of the fire. How about that one? Johnny Brewer steals the ball coming in with about 7 seconds to go. And Adolph Rupp rubbing his head most slowly up the floor here. Man, these Kentucky Wildcats put one down to the last second. Boy. Well, Chuck Noe, a Louisville boy, is coaching VPI, mows up, expressionless and without hardly a word to Adolph Rupp. So, it's been one of the most thrilling finishes to a ball game in many a day. About 7 seconds to go when that beautiful steal by Johnny Brewer was the one that did it. It incidentally was Brewer's only point of the ball game. And Kentucky wins by 56 to 55. Exactly the lead they came into this half with. So, we're going to have to give a lot of credit, too, to Earl Atkins and Adrian Smith, 2 reserves that came off the bench with 1 minute and 14 seconds to play. And they pumped in 2 outside shots. Adrian Smith hitting, then Earl Atkins hitting. And Johnny Brewer set the stage with his back-breaking steal of the incoming pass, laid in a driving one-handed shot. Well, settling down here now, we want to talk a little business to you here, because most of us resolve to start the new year right. But as the months roll along, we too often forget our good resolutions. This year, more than ever, it will pay you to resolve to have your Standard Oil dealer service your car regularly. And it will pay you to keep that resolution. With cars costing 2 and 3 times what they used to, it's essential to take care of them. Regular lubrication service by your neighborhood Standard Oil dealer will keep your car running better longer, holding costly repair bills to a minimum and giving you the low-cost transportation you want. See your neighborhood Standard Oil dealer regularly during the year ahead. The dependable quality products he sells and the friendly, experienced service he renders will help assure you that your car will be in shape to greet many more New Years. Well, it's been a real spine tingler. Another of Kentucky's famous one-point games here in Sugar Bowl play. It was a few years ago that they beat Villanova by 1 point in an overtime period, and they've lost several one-point games to St. Louis here in Sugar Bowl play. But tonight, they salvaged one as they came up with 6 points in the last minute of play. Outside shooting by Earl Atkins and Adrian Smith to set the stage for Johnny Brewer's steal and driving one-handed layup shot in the final 7 seconds of play. VPI did not get a final shot at the basket. The horn sounded with Lewis Mills on the drive for the basket. Well, the key men in the final minute of play did not score but 2 points apiece. Earl Atkins' only field goal was there in the last minute of play, and he gets 2 points for the night. The same for Adrian Smith, who scored the outside set shot to narrow the VPI lead back to 1 point. And Johnny Brewer, who scored the game-winning basket, had only 1 field goal and 2 points. Ed Beck tonight had his best night of the season offensively as he scored 16 points on 8 field goals. mentioning the word 8, that was a rather magic word for Kentucky. Ed Beck had 8 field goals, and Kentucky got only 8 free throws, and they hit every one of them. Kentucky did not miss a free throw. They had quite an advantage on field goals. The other scoring for the Wildcats, Calvert had 4 field goals, 2 in each half, and he ended up the night with a total of 10 points. 4 field goals and all 4 of his free throws. He had 6 of his 10 points in the second half. Johnny Cox tonight was limited to just 4 points on 2 first-half field goals. And Vernon Hatton tonight came up with a total of 12 points, and he becomes Kentucky's leading scorer, 4 field goals and 4 free throws. The other scoring for the Wildcats, John Krigler had 4 points, a field goal in each half of play. Bill Cassidy was the only one in the Wildcats lineup who did not score, as Ray Mills, who played briefly in the first half, got a field goal and 2 points. Well, Kentucky had 11 field goals in the first half, came up with 13 in the second half for a total of 24. Here's the scoring on VPI. Terry Penn, the little 5'9" guard who so courageously battled to the wire for VPI, ended up with 14 points on 7 field goals, and Penn had 2 free throws in the second half, both of them critical, and he missed them both. Jim Settles relieved briefly in the first half, but did not score at a guard position. Lewis Mills, the other 5'9" pepper-potted guard, ended up the night with a total of 12 points on 4 field goals and 4 out of 6 free throws. Buck Jones came in as a reserve in the second half and got a pair of points, 2 out of 3 on the free throw line. Dave Kuhn tonight was able to pick up 11 points, 3 field goals and 5 out of 6 free throws. John Quillen added 5 points, 3 out of 4 free throws and a field goal. And Abe Coates, who got his only field goal of the game, appeared to have gotten the point that would beat Kentucky as they went on top 55-54. 11 points for Abe Coates tonight, and incidentally 9 of them came in the second half of play, where he got all these free throws. He hit 7 out of 8 on the free throw line, and that was the scoring for VPI, as they were led by Terry Penn with 14, and Kentucky was led by Ed Beck with 16 points. VPI tonight committed only 4 personal fouls. In the first half of play, VPI had only 8 field goals, and in the second half of play, 9, as Kentucky had a margin of 24-17.